Oh boy, hail and Masha's Kingdom, welcome to Path of Exile 2. It's me, the King, and today that's the witch who will curse everyone and destroy them with ease. Yeah, this witch is really nice and fun to play, and also it's not like AFK build. You will need to think when you can perform with the spells better, so it's like engaging, fun, but also pretty like easy and straightforward to play. Coolest part, you can basically start playing this build right from the beginning, learn how it works, and then add to every piece of the puzzle little by little, one by one, and everything will work like a charm and you will destroy basically whole Path of Exile easily. In this video I will explain everything from gear, skills and support gems, and of course massive skill tree, how to level to beat campaign, and how we need to level in the end game, of course. To understand everything, we need to start from the skills first. From the start of the game you will find a wand with Chaos Bolt skill, and that's a wand you want to use all the time, because Chaos Bolt is one of the main skills for us, especially later in the game. But in the beginning, the first and most important skill is Essence Drain. Essence Drain is projectile Chaos Duration skill. It fires a projectile, and basically that's what it normally does. We fire a projectile and it will apply debuff that will eat HP of our enemy, and he will eventually be down. So that's basically how it works. All you need to do is to wait a little bit of time and enemies will be destroyed. Yeah, just like that. So that's our first skill. The second skill is Contagion. Contagion is a debuff that deals chaos damage over time. So we already got 2 chaos damage over time spells in our arsenal. And while it's doing pretty nice damage, especially if you combine it with right supportive gems, actually the damage scales like insanely insane, because it will spread when the first source, the first target will die. So first target dies, this basically debuff will jump to nearby targets and deal more damage, up to 300%, and with the word more, and more is multiplicative multiplier in this game. So let's take a look. That's basically how it looks normally on a target. As you can see, he losing health pretty slowly. But if we apply another debuff, he will be destroyed, and now the curse spreads to another target, and just like that. The coolest part, it's not only spreads this effect, it will spread any other damage over time effects that you will apply. So basically we got this effect, and then we're applying our Essence Drain. So Essence Drain will jump to nearby targets and destroy them quickly. All you need to do is to just apply Essence Drain and Contagion to one target, and it will destroy the whole map in a matter of seconds. You just need to wait these few seconds until targets will be destroyed, and that's basically the main idea and main combination, what you need to learn how to use. To make this combination even more deadlier, we will use Despair. Despair is a curse. It will have activation time and it will reduce enemies' house resistance. So chaos resistance is insane, since all our damage is chaos basically. And now instead of doing like 300% more damage, we will do a lot more. Just look at this, that's the curse. So that's the curse on the ground. We're spreading Contagion and Essence Drain, and it starts to jump to every target in our like map and area and basically destroys our enemies insanely quickly. But now look at this beauty, what we can do basically. We can do this purple destroying case, which will basically like destroy the whole map even faster. And as you can see, full combination is completely fun, fast, and also really powerful. Yeah, just like that. So what was that? That was another spell in our arsenal, Dark Effigy. Dark Effigy is the next spell you will unlock, and that's basically a totem. Totem will bombard enemies afflicted by chaos damage over time debuffs. Basically, the full combination looks like this. We are applying Essence Drain, it will deal some chaos damage over time. We are applying Contagion, chaos damage over time, and also when the first target dies from Essence Drain, it will spread to another targets and start to deal even more damage. This full quality Contagion will do up to 400 extra damage, which is great, and also we will amplify this damage by Despair, and also Dark Effigy will bombard our enemies for nice chaos damage, extra damage, and also it will bombard, it means projectiles will have some radius, so it will apply like multiple damage in area. To make sure our enemies standing in one place and spreading contagion with essence drain, we need skeletal warriors. Yeah, skeletal warriors is pretty easy and straightforward, you will get them really fast, and they basically our tanky guys. Now let's quickly check our buffs. So one of the buffs is Withering Presence, so we can use it in early game, and what it does, it's basically applying debuff over time when enemies is nearby. Every 2.2 seconds it will activate Wizard for 4 seconds, and Wizard is 5% increased chaos damage. So that's it, basically. It will increase chaos damage targets take. Basically, like, kinda reduces their resistance, but not actually, because if you reduce target resistance, then they kinda not protected from your damage. But if you did more damage, then if target got high resistance and you can't lower their resistance, basically you will deal not a lot of damage. So we need kinda a source of destroying resistances of our enemies anyway. That's why we're using Despair. Anyway, in the late game you don't want to use it, because to use any buff, basically you need to allocate some spirit. And yeah, you can use not a lot of spirit in this game, you will be very limited on it. And also, if you wish to get some supportive gems on your buffs, you will basically forced to get more spirit. And if for some reason you don't have spirit right now, what you want to actually use for this build, when you go for full build, is Grim Fist. Grim Fist is insane, it will spawn energy shield bubbles from defeated enemies. I got 2 supportive gems on this buff, and basically I got Clarity for more mana regeneration, I got Vitality for more health regeneration, that's it. What is this like white stuff that you will see? You just saw one, and that's basically how it looks like. So that's the white spirit from Grim, and we take them and we get shield back. It helps a lot in some situations, we can get a lot of shield back, especially versus bosses who spawn a lot of enemies. But since our main character is Blood Mage, we will get this Life Remnant skill, which also gives us ability to get a lot of extra health, and it will basically go above our health cap even. Works kinda the same, and basically we will have a lot of protection when we're not fighting, because as Blood Mage you will use some of your spells, mana cost, to cast your spells. Basically, if you actually will fail, for example, you cast a lot of curses, you actually can even defeat yourself instead of enemies, so be careful. And now last but not least, Chaos Bolt. That's our main damaging source and why we need it. Basically, from the start of the game you can just go and spam Essence Drain, that's it. You don't need anything else. But when you get to the Blood Mage part, you see my health is just dropping every cast, and you can't afford it, especially on high difficulty. And on the maps you want some source of damage that can be applied without using your health a lot. So that's basically the source. As you can see, it's not costing a lot of mana, so we basically can cast it a lot without consuming any resource, almost any resource at all. And now it's time to tie everything up with support gems. So support gems for Chaos Bolt, that's what I got here. I got more critical damage bonus, 100% increased critical damage bonus, but supported skills will have 20% less critical hit chance. So that's not a problem for us, but this support gem is level 3. You won't have all of them. As well as Chaos Mastery, I got +1 level to supported skills, basically over here. And it increases our damage per second like a lot, so that's really a nice socket. And last is 25% more casting speed. So while you're leveling, you actually want best supportive gems on your main damaging source. For example, if you're using Essence Drain before you became Blood Mage as your main damaging source, then definitely just drop more casting speed on Essence Drain. Another great supportive gem is Considered Casting. Supportive spells have 10% less casting speed and deal 25% more damage with spell hits. So that's a good one. But basically what you're looking for is kinda anything that will help you deal more damage with this. So any like stuff that will just increase your damage. Some critical hits will also work. You will see a passive skill tree later, but Minion Pact is also nice. You will just defeat one of your skeletons and deal more damage, so that's a powerful one. Also, Minion Pact is great on Contagion, but more on that later. But here's one of the most secret sockets. So you get my passive skill gems right now on Chaos Bolt, my main damaging source, but here's the secret gem that you want to use, especially early in the game, Envenom. Envenom is insane, and it will give you a chance to hit with the poison on hit. So why do we need poison? And actually in early game, I combine this stuff with comorbidity for 2 poison stacks at once. So why do we need this poison, especially in early game? It's actually pretty fun, and you may think poison is kind of like different damage type, but actually poison can benefit from chaos damage. So poison benefits from chaos or physical damage. For us it's chaos damage, of course, and basically poison will hit for 20% of chaos damage dealt by hit. This ability right now hits for 2k damage, not actually 2k, but it got 2k DPS, and poison will have pretty nice DPS too, basically 20% of this DPS. And 2 poison stacks is a lot better. Chance to critical hit again will make this ability hit for more, means poison will deal more damage, double poison stack will deal more damage. Great to defeat bosses, especially in early game. So last skill I got here right now is drain alignments. We can consume poison basically and deal 35% more damage with our damage over time debuff. And this damage over time debuff is pretty good because it's dealing 100 base chaos damage right now at level 14. Modifiers to spell damage also applies to this stuff, and it will do 30% more if we eat the poison basically. Drain alignments is great. So this all supportive gems you can use however you like. You can allocate them between these 2 spells. Just make sure you get some nice DPS, and that's it. That's how it works. Now let's jump to our favorite Contagion. So Contagion is great. The first supportive gem is Persistence, to have more duration. That's it. It stays for more, means we get more time to spread this stuff out. Sometimes enemies not dying really fast, and we want to make sure it actually stays. So that's the main idea. Then I like Hinder. Hinder is insane. Chaos damage over time inflicted by supported skills also hinders enemies, means they will be slowed. And slow is really great, 30%. It's actually insane versus bosses and other guys. As you can see, they will be moving like insanely slow, and while they're moving slow, everyone is really slow. It's a great way to basically avoid attacks, move, run away from the enemies, and your actual style of playing at this point will be like this. You just go in, doing your alignments, debuffs on enemies, spreading plague all over the map basically, and running, and plague will defeat everyone by itself. So that's like technically everything we need to do. Just cruise them and that's it. And when you want to stand still and attack, that's what you're doing, basically standing still and attacking. And the last one is Chaotic Freeze over here. It's late game supportive gem level 3, and it's also insane. Chaos damage will contribute to freeze build up to hits against targets who taking damage over time from this source. So look how it works. Basically we're applying Contagion to this bro, and now every hit applies freeze, so he will be frozen like in a few hits actually, if he survive. It's insanely good versus bosses especially. We can build up a lot of freeze, and we don't need even freeze build up to freeze enemies, so that's like coolest part. Next one, Despair, our curse. So this curse got a ritualistic curse. It erupts a little bit slower but have more area of effect. Again, it's really great to have more area because you will see how broken this stuff is with the next supportive gems. Decaying Hex, that's one. Basically, Decaying Hex makes this curse dealing 30% of intelligence as chaos damage per second for 8 seconds, so long duration, chaos damage, damage per second. We don't care about damage actually, still it's pretty nice damage, but let me remind you, Dark Effigy bombards everyone who got chaos damage over time debuffs, and it's dealing damage basically for every single debuff. So normally if you put Dark Effigy like that, he won't attack anyone, basically anyone, and that's why poison also works greatly. So when we apply essence drain, as you can see, he's shooting like 2 bolts at the same time. And why 2 bolts? Because there is not only one debuff, it's also poison debuff, which also counts like chaos damage over time. So there's a great part. Now if we combine it with curse, with everything else, this totem starts to become like crazy and doing crazy amount of extra damage over time. Kinda, you know, it bombards enemies, so it's doing damage over time anyway, just in a short amount of time, short bursts. So this Decaying Hex is only to activate extra bombardment from Dark Effigy, but also it's nice damage source. and then focused curse. Curse zones will erupt faster. Again, that's really nice because, you know, enemies will move a lot faster, especially when you progress through the game, and you want to shoot these curses on them. You will run from them most of the time, and it will be hard to aim, so it's nice to have this supportive gem over here right now. Now, my favorite totem, Dark Effigy. So, the most important one, Withering Touch. Withering Touch will make this totem inflict wizard on hit, and that's why we don't need Withering Presence. Because this totem will instantly inflict full stacks of wizard in no time. This means when it hits any enemy, and it hits every enemy who get affected by our curses, here reducing their defense basically. I mean, it's increasing our attack actually. So as you can see, it's 20% right now on this bro. It can go up to 50%, and that's the craziest part. So we're basically lowering defense, we increasing damage we inflict, and the full combination just melts wall zones in a matter of seconds. Also, curse jumps with contagion, so you just need to apply one curse, and that's more than enough, and you will just destroy the zone. So that's how it works. And last socket over here is Ancestral Urgency, to have more totem placement speed. This totem will be destroyed in a matter of seconds. You just want to place it as fast as possible and start dealing damage. Also, we got Skeletal Warriors, don't forget about them. And for them, most important one is Mid Shield. So that's it, basically. You want to have more health on these guys, and that's it. And last optional stuff for extremely late gameish situations is Soul Offering. So Soul Offering can eat one of your minions to give you 32% more spell damage. I got Dance Macabre over here to increase buff length and buff power, and how it works basically, we sacrifice these two guys and our spells doing almost like double damage. So damage is pretty insane, but it's pretty hard to aim with this stuff, especially if you're playing on control like me. So it's not very reliable in most situations, but still it's really powerful. It will amplify all damage of all your spells, so pretty insane stuff. But of course everything won't work without correct gear. So what gear are you looking for? Again, it's Victory Needle Wizard Wand. Basically, you're looking for Wizard Wand actually, and any Wizard Wand with spell damage, chaos damage, and casting speed. Critical hit chance or critical hit damage is also nice, but that's basically pretty good wand I got over here. Then, about armor. You're not building typical mage. We're building strength, intelligence mage. We will have a lot of HP, so we not will be squishy, and that's why I'm using basically every armor with strength, intelligence requirements for more armor and energy shield. So that's what you're looking for. Again, you're looking for better armor, energy shield, you're looking for some resistances, and for belt, I like to have more armor on my belt anyway. So any belt with good armor will be good and some resistances. Best stats for us is increased casting speed, chaos damage. So I got rings with chaos damage and increased casting speed respectively. And some of my gear got bonus to spirit. Bonus to spirit is great, because without bonus to spirit you won't be able to use Skeletal Warriors. That's fine, you can play without them. I beated the game without Skeletal Warriors actually, but it's nice to have them, as well as having activated Grim Fist, at least for now. So, gear is pretty easy. Now let's talk about our passive skill tree. Before we'll go to Ascendancy, that's how we start, and that's our starting leveling. So everything is easy and straightforward. You want to start with increased spell damage over here, and minions will deal increased damage. And basically we're going top with increased spell damage 3 times and more minion damage. We're finishing with a raw distraction. It will give us 16% increased spell damage and 10 intelligence. So where we can go next? Since our main damaging sources is chaos damage and also some debuffs that need to take some time to deal damage, that's why we're going top first. We're getting more increased spell damage, 8%, and then to the right side it will be 10% increased chaos damage, almost the single damage we're doing basically, and entropy will give us 18% increased chaos damage with 15% increased skill effect duration. We need this duration for our skills, so they stay for longer on enemies, and that's the great note over here to start the game. You will be mostly fine in early game, and we don't need to go forward from the entropy. We're getting back to raw destruction and then going to the right side, increasing casting speed. That's really great because when you're applying curses, you want to apply them as fast as possible. Casting speed is an important factor for us. One more note to increase casting speed, and then we're going to the top part, spell critical chance. So again, it will determine how much damage we can inflict with poison, and poison is great damaging source. It's another damage over time for our build. Then we get into the top for more critical hit chance, and then we get in critical overload. That's a great note. So this skill will give us more critical hit chance, but also spell damage if we dealt a critical hit recently. Recently is 4 seconds, so we will hit with a lot of attack speed with our wand, with our basic skill. We will deal some critical hits and all spell damage will be amplified. This means all damage over buffs, damage over time debuffs of course, will be stronger and stronger every time we increase critical hit. Not stronger and stronger, of course, it will be amplified only once, but still that's a great, because they will benefit from spell damage anyway. And then we're increasing our critical spell damage bonus, so that's a great stuff and great start. And then we're going to intelligence. Now, what to take, intelligence or strength? Basically, you want to make sure you get enough intelligence to learn your spells, but strength is more important for us. With the full build, you will benefit from intelligence for your mana regeneration and for a total mana. It will be very useful, especially in late game. I will show and explain when we get over there. But strength is also very nice and useful, because strength will give us more regeneration per second, and this build will really benefit from health regeneration. As you can see, I got 3k health regeneration per second, which is insane, and that's what you need. So, getting back to our tree. Technically, we got 2 options, and that's how I recommend leveling. You don't want to go far away on the tree, especially in early game. I hear like a lot of time from people, oh my goodness, I can't play this game, it's so hard. And you know why? Because people just see some big shiny thing over here and think, oh yeah, I will apply additional course, I need to go here straight away. Yeah, you will go here straight away, but in this game, in Pass of Exile 2, intelligence, strength and dexterity doesn't contribute to any other stats. So basically it's giving you kinda nothing. Based on your strength, intelligence and dexterity, you will have only support gem capacity. So you will be able to get more supportive gems of different colors. So instead pick like the quickest path to your damage. And we got 2 parts over here, top and right. You can go in any direction, it doesn't matter. So let's check the top part first. That's where we are on the tree right now, and we're going to the top. So it will be intelligence, intelligence and dexterity. Why dexterity? Because I needed second poison. So I needed second dexterity gem, so I picked dexterity here. And then we're going to the left, to intelligence, strength over here. I'm basically balancing them out, so I have same intelligence and strength most of the time. And here we got chaos damage, 7% chaos damage, 29 increased chaos damage, and enemies you curse have -3% to chaos resistance. Then we can go to this part nearby and get more spell damage with critical hits, of course, more critical hit chance, more critical spell damage bonus, and then that sudden escalation is insane. 16% increased critical hit chance for spells, but at the same time we will increase casting speed if we dealt a critical hit recently. That's insane stuff against bosses to finish them off, and that's like a great part over here. But you can completely skip it until late game, so another option is to go to the right side from intelligence. That's where we are right now. We're going to the right side, getting intelligence, 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 or dexterity if you need it at this time. And here is a nice little chaos part. So chaos damage and skill effect duration, more, and finished with more chaos damage and skill effect duration with 23% increased chaos damage. Just by taking 2 chaos damage parts from the beginning, you will have enough chaos damage to deal with basically anyone. You will defeat Act 1, Act 2 pretty easily. And I really suggest getting back from this little chaos part and getting this spell damage over here, 30% spell damage just with 3 levels, followed by potent incantation. 30% more increased spell damage, but it will reduce your casting speed. Again, that's not a problem. If you take this part, you basically will have more casting speed anyway. And that's technically like Act 1, Act 2, and where you want to go in Act 3. So Act 3 is where you actually will have some damage, but you want to amplify it like as soon as possible by a large margin. So from the right wing over here, we get in 2 attribute nodes, getting some strength over here, basically a lot of health. What I'm getting here is a lot of health, as you can see, and a lot of health because I need a lot of health to cast my spells. That's it. Then we get a Javel. I got Javel with spell damage and increased attack and casting speed for minions. I don't care about this, but basically I picked spell damage. For Javels, you're looking for the same stuff as your gear: chaos damage, spell damage, casting speed. That's it. Critical damage is also nice. And here is the best chaos damage tree. You will have increased chaos damage 3 times by 7%, and then followed by 53% increased chaos damage. You will lose some life and energy shield when you cast a chaos skill, but you don't care about this, you're losing your life anyway. That's just such insane buff for your damage that you need to take it in Act 3 to completely destroy it. 2 more nodes of 7% of chaos damage, followed by 3% increased movement speed, 29% for chaos damage. You will lose some chaos resistance, that's fine, and you will have reduced light radius, also fine, but you will have 7% increased attributes, which is great, since attributes for us will deal like a lot of positive stuff, a lot of regeneration, and we need this total life and total mana actually too. So where to go next? Next, actually, we're going back, and that's why. You will probably finish this part of the tree, I will just explain even before you will go to the end of Act 3. And we need to go back to the beginning right over here to road destruction, and then we need to go to the left. So I got a little bit more strength over here, because you will sometime still be squishy against enemies in Act 3. Still, we need to destroy them fast. So here another chaos damage part, but after 4 nodes of 7% increased chaos damage, we got 29% increased chaos damage with 10% increased global defenses. Global defenses is your energy shield, your armor, your evasion rating, which is great. It gives you a lot of extra armor, so you will be protected from basic hits. You'll have some energy shield. That's just a great aggressive and protective node to finish Act 3 and go to cruel difficulty. But actually probably will level even more a little bit, and that's how you actually beat the game. So here we got 2 intelligence nodes. Probably I took them because I needed to learn next level of spells, and here is another part that will basically make us kinda unbeatable. You can take it early if you think you're squishy. So we got 10% increased mana regeneration, and we will regenerate 0.5% of life per second, with more strength and intelligence at the same time, 0.2 life per second, and then 20% increased life regeneration rate, as well as 5% of damage will be recouped as life. Basically, we will have another layer of protection. Recouped damage is nice layer when you will take the hits anyway, so we don't have a lot of evasion, we won't have a lot of energy shield with our casting abilities, so energy shield is basically depleted most of the time anyway, and this overall gives us nice protection. Then another regeneration, and then 10% increased damage, 10% increased critical hit chance with 5 strength and intelligence. That's just nice and useful, like powerful node to increase damage. Don't forget it's not like melee critical hit chance, it will also be applied to our spells, so that's a great stuff. So that's until you hit cruel difficulty. Now, where to go when you hit cruel difficulty? That's basically where we wanna go. And yeah, you can feel completely safe to swap any part of this tree in order. So just make sure you, like, for example, you can ignore critical hit chance completely in the beginning and instead go into defensive part first. Just do whatever you feel is right for you right now. That's completely fine, it will work anyway. So, what I recommend to do first, and how we will level up in the late game when we're hitting like level 50 plus, where we're going, what we are doing. So that's where we're going. We're basically going on top from this part. And yeah, actually I like ignored critical hit in the beginning, so I just learned it. And we went over here to the top, Javel over here. That will increase my maximum energy shield and critical damage bonus. So we're looking for critical damage bonus right now to deal more critical damage with crazy stick that doing insane amount of damage. I'm talking about Chaos Bolt, of course. And just 2 steps to the right of our Javel is increased critical hit chance for spells, one more critical hit spell damage bonus, one more bonus, and then followed by critical hit chance for spells, and critical hit will be reduced against us. We are pretty tanky, but still we can die to critical hits if monsters hit with a lot of power. That's a nice protective rune, but also nice damaging rune. Critical hit chance is great, and I really like it, but if you dislike it, you can stop on critical hit damage, for example, and that's it. Still, I think it's nice protective and aggressive rune. And then look where we're going right now. So I went to the right, get intelligence, maximum energy shield plus 15%, and 60% increased maximum energy shield. So why do we need high energy shield while basically we can't use it a lot? Yeah, we can use it for first hit most of the time. So if a monster will hit me, we can like survive a few hits. We can survive one shot from boss, but you need to survive it by avoiding these attacks anyway. Because when we just start in a fight versus boss, as you can see, I'm losing like half of my shield in a second. And with every spell cast we can lose almost all shield. So for bosses the strategy will be pretty simple. You actually want to have your energy shield most of the time, and instead of spamming your spells, the safe way to play right now will be to cast like one spell, two spell, and run. That's basically what you're doing. You're running around bosses, you're casting spells from time to time, and you're keeping your energy shield. This way we will have our effective HP around like 3-4k probably damage that we can take, because we will have nice resistances, nice armor, nice energy shield. That's the safe way how to beat the game. But if you wish to play as fun as me, you will like spam spells like this, and you will lose your energy shield in a matter of few seconds, and you will never regenerate it against bosses. You will never regenerate it. I like the tension, I like to be in crisis situations. That's a fun stuff for me, and that's why I'm going here right now. So look, that's the great part we will take advantage of. So we're going to the left, to the top, and then we got this part. We're converting all energy shield to mana. So we'll lose all energy shield. Is this a problem for us? Not really, because we will take it only after we get 10% increased mana regeneration rate, 2 times, followed by 3% increased spell damage per 100 maximum mana. By converting all energy shield, and we get insane energy shield at this point, we will have a lot of extra damage. So that's a risky way how you can have a lot of fun, but that's where you want to go next and basically continue your adventure. And again, you can experiment and go in any direction. That's what I'm planning to do next. So getting more energy shield for survivability, and not for survivability, of course, for more damage. And then we're getting ourselves over here 2 times, followed by increasing spell damage, more spell damage and projectile speed, more projectile speed, and then chance to fire 2 additional projectiles, basically 3 projectiles. And the total chance will be around 20%. We will have insane attack speed, casting speed of course. We'll fire a lot of projectiles, they will freeze all enemies, and that's like a lot of fun and crazy stuff. Here is another part with a lot of casting speed, but I'm not going here probably. I'm actually planning to go into this left part. It's just insane damage part, and if this part with energy shield won't work, I actually will go over there. I will go over there like as soon as possible, because this 2 Javels is just critical hit damage, like a lot of critical hit damage. 15%, like 30%, crazy. Then 20% increased damage if we dealt a critical hit recently. Then 20% more damage if we dealt a critical hit, and then 30% more damage if we dealt a critical hit, with increased critical hit chance. And probably I will play with this Eldritch Battery a little bit, and then we'll switch completely to critical damage of course, and we can survive if we need to survive in late game with these parts over here. So from the beginning of the tree, right here we get increased casting speed few times, followed by casting speed and chaos resistance. Again, that's pretty nice stuff, and casting speed actually contributes a lot to damage per second, like pretty insane damage per second. And here is a nice protective layer. Basically we can go to the top a few times and get increased armor and energy shield few times, followed by increased movement speed, armor and energy shield. It will give us a lot of energy shield, and with full combination we'll have insanely high energy shield. This will contribute to mana, that will contribute to our spell damage, and it should be great, especially with additional critical hit damage bonus. For more chaos damage, you can look into this part over here, and it will give you 4 times 11% increased chaos damage, followed by gain 11% of damage as extra chaos damage. So it will give us a lot of damage actually. And again, if this energy shield part won't work and it will feel awful, then we switch to full chaos damage, of course, in the late game. But if it feels great, there is nice protective layer for us. We're going to the left part, Jewel Socket, attributes, then to the down for one more attribute, and followed by Mind Over Matter. All damage is taken from mana before life, and again, we don't need to cast a lot of spells, they won't cost a lot of mana. We will have like insane amount of extra mana, and our mana will be our another layer of protection. But still, that's what I got right now, and that's insanely cool and fun build to play. I hope you enjoyed this build. You will have blood playing it in Path of Exile 2. Make sure to watch other cool videos on the screen right now, and see you there.